Hello! Today I want to swatch my shades from the Color Me Multi collection by Touch of Glam. These are described as metallic pastel megachromes. They give a very high shine look. And yeah, that's all the page says. These shades normally cost $19.60, but they always have a 15% off code. Also, right now they have a sale going on for their birthday. It's 30% off site-wide. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last, but it's been 2 days and it's still going on, so it might be worth checking it out, only if you're interested, of course. Also, Touch of Glam normally takes a few months to ship. I've seen lately they've been claiming that they're going to get better at it, but you know, we shall see how that goes. Anyways, with those disclaimers out of the way, let's get into the swatches. Starting with part 1, this is Undeniably Pink. It has a very strong pink base with a gold shift at first sight. And I just wanted to show how malleable these are. Like, I'm barely tapping it and it's already moving a lot, and I already picked up a lot on my finger, so it's a very delicate formula. It's flaky, but the flakes melt quite easily when you make contact with the skin. You know, back in 2016, when people were calling everything buttery, well, this actually feels like butter because it's kind of oily and malleable, and I'm not sure how to feel about it, but at the same time it's kind of flaky, so I need to pass my finger another time just to melt them. By the way, on the eyes, I just tap these. I don't use a brush, I just use my finger and tap it on, and then it will melt into the skin. But yeah, these are very easy to use, they have a high impact. And are you seeing that is like a whole rainbow in just one shade? It has a hot pink base with a gold shift that goes green, and the harsh angle is going to be that slight blue. Next up is Shiny Kaleidoscope. As you can see, it has a very strong purple base with a gold shift. On the finger it's easy to tell. The harsh angle is going to be that blue. The base of this one stains a little, but nothing major. Swatching it out, you can see that strong purple base with a gold shift that goes green and the blue at the harsh angle. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the exact same shade as the last one, except this one has a purple base instead of pink, but the shift is exactly the same. I don't mind having both of these because I do use them a lot on their own. But you know, if you are handy with your collection, you could just pick one of these and recreate the other. Next up, it's going to be Iconic, which is this minty green with a pink shift. That's the first shift anyway. And you can see on the hand swatch, the second shift is going to be that lime green, going to more of an aqua. It's absolutely so pretty, but let me tell you, if you have the Cosmos, you don't need this one because they're basically the same. Next up, it's going to be Dirty Little Secret, which is a blue base with blue sparkle, which looks quite underwhelming, but trust me, it's gonna get better. On the finger, you can tell the base is a bit darker than the sparkle, and there's a slight gold shift at the harsh angle. This one was a bit flakier, and I wanted to show just, you know, the kind of texture that you can expect from this. As I said, the texture in this is so odd because it's flaky yet squishy at the same time. I don't think I've used a formula like this in any other brand, but I don't try every brand, so you know, maybe there's some other brands that do this. But anyways, the flakes are easy to melt, and the first shift is going to be that very light blue, shifting to a pink, to a muted gold at the harsh angle. It's a very pretty shade, if you ask me. This is High Tides and Good Vibes, and this is no longer the part 1, this is part 2. As you can see, this looks very similar to another shade, but we'll talk comparisons later. It's a purple base with a slightly muted gold shift and an aqua at the harsh angle. You can see on the swatch, the second shift is going to be that minty green, and at the harsh angle you can see that slight blue just peeking through. It's obviously a very gorgeous shade. I would recommend it if you don't have anything like this. But I already have this shade in Shiny Kaleidoscope, so I don't know why they felt the need to make something so similar for the second part. Now this is Tropical Vibes. It's like a slightly peachy pink with a gold shift, as you can see just in the pen. and on the finger you can see how flaky this formula is. It's quite reflective and it has a very muted blue at the harsh angle. And on the swatch, I would call this like a warmer and more muted version of Undeniably Pink. It has the same bits, but it's slightly different enough that I wouldn't call them dupes. But could I tell them apart on the eyes? I'm not sure. Next up, this is Diamonds in the Sun. You can see it has a slightly muted purple base with a gold shift. As always, here's my chunky little finger swatch. You can see that gold very easily, and the shift is not that obvious with that blue, it's a bit more muted. And swatching it out, I feel the same way about this as I did about Tropical Vibes. It's like a muted version of Shine Me a Kaleidoscope. The gold is less yellow, and the base is a bit more transparent. So later on, I'm going to compare them side by side just to see if the differences are as big as I think they are. So again, beautiful shade if you don't have anything like this, but if you've been into indie for a while now, you probably do have something similar to this. Next, this is Peach Cobbler, and this is a more subtle shade than the others. It's not trying to be colorful, but it does have a very high shine in it as always. You can see on the finger swatch there's barely anything at the harsh angle, but it does have a very high impact. Swatching it out, that base is there, but it's like a muted color. I would call this like a dusty pink, and the shifts are quite subtle colors. It goes from a pink to a green to a silver. Very muted versions of those colors. It's honestly refreshing to see something that's not similar to the rest. Next is gonna be On Wednesdays We Were Pink, and it's a light pink base, and the first shift is going to be like a slightly muted aqua shade going to pink. This is the only one that doesn't have that creamy texture. It's still very malleable in the pen, but it's a bit less creamy than the rest. But you know, it still sparkles quite a lot. It's actually one of the more unique ones in this collection, as far as I can tell. You can see the shifts are going to be that aqua to a purpley pink to a more true pink. It's quite reflective in real life. And last, it's gonna be I Need Vitamin C. It's this very vivid blue shifting to a pink in the pen. On the finger, I can tell that the harsh angle is going to be a blue. The texture in this one is creamy again. And on the hand swatch, you can see that base is quite prominent. It's a very vivid blue with a pink shift that goes lime, and the harsh angle is going to be an aqua shade. It's very impactful. As you can see, the base in this one is way more vivid than the rest of the Part 2 collection. And it's the thing with all of these shades. Even though I know they're more versatile with a lighter shade, I just can't deny that I love the look of a darker base on this. It's so impactful and pretty. And now for the comparisons, here's Iconic is going to be at the top and I Need Vitamin C at the bottom. You can see the difference in these are the bases, but the shift is basically the same. If I were to recommend one, I would say Iconic is more versatile, but I can't deny that my lizard brain prefers I Need Vitamin C because of the color alone. Next, here's Shine Me a Kaleidoscope, Diamonds in the Sun, and High Tides and Good Vibes at the very bottom. As you can see, you do not need these three. High Tides and Good Vibes, it's slightly pinkier than the others, while Shine Me a Kaleidoscope, it's a bit bluer, but trust me, you do not need all of these. Like, just pick your favorite and stick with it. Here's Undeniably Pink at top and Tropical Vibes at the bottom. You can see there's a bit more difference in these because Tropical Vibes, it's like the muted version of Undeniably Pink if you ask me. The base is very similar, but the shift is less gold in Tropical Vibes. If you think they're too similar, then they are. Now, if I were to rank this the way I'm feeling today, it's going to be Undeniably Pink first because it's like Oreo but on steroids. It's like half the rainbow in one shade. Then it would be I Need Vitamin C because I'm a sucker for Buuut, and all of these are going to be basically talking about the color because all of these have basically the same formula. Speaking of color, next is going to be Dirty Little Secret just because this one is very periwinkle leaning and I love periwinkle. Next it would be On Wednesdays We Were Pink because it's quite unique. It doesn't have a repeat on these collections as far as the ones that I have. Next it would be Shine Me a Kaleidoscope. But if you were to ask me these when I just got them, that would have been the #1 shade. But seeing they dupe it 3 times kinda soured it for me. Next I would put Iconic just because it's like the most versatile version of I Need Vitamin C because it lacks the very strong base. Then it would be Peach Cobbler just because it doesn't have any repeats. And next all of the repeats because I just don't like having repeats in my collection. I try my best to avoid them. But you know, if you don't have anything similar, these are very fine shades. There's nothing wrong with them. I just don't like the fact that they included them in the second collection and they didn't even hint that these would be so similar. Touch of Glam is not the only one who does this, but I just hate when that happens and I don't realize until it's too late. But I do hope this video was helpful for any of you out there that were wondering about these shades. Please learn from my mistakes. By the way, there's more shades in both collections and there's a creator with the name Regina that actually compared all of them by color. So I'm going to link her video down below because I found it very useful to keep me from buying even more repeats. And that'll be all for me for now. Thank you for watching and have a great day.